Because writing has a power that most people don't really comprehend. Because when you read the vision that was in your mind from paper, all you're doing is validating it, and your subconscious sees that. It's like, oh, this is real. Hey, welcome back to Uncivilized Rebirth. Like I've said before, I hope this is a place that you find a voice of rationale and a solid argument for healing. Argument. So, today I want to talk about vision. Vision. What is it? Like, how does it help us? And, like, why would we do it in the first place? For me, many years in my life, up until I was about maybe 37, I had no vision for where I wanted to go with my life. I just did what was presented to me, and I was searching for jobs or for work in the military or for what other people were doing and copying them and be like, hey, maybe they will hook me up. Maybe they will show me what to do next. Maybe this person is the key to what it is I'm missing, because I always had this deep thing in my heart of like, there was a bigger purpose for me. I had a bigger mission, but I was always seeking it from other people and other places. And that always led to failure. Not even failures, just it's what they wanted. It's what other people suggested. It was other people's dreams. Just like if you get a job at anybody's company that's not yours, you are working for their dream. That means you have plugged your life into their life dream, and you are feeding your life energy into their dream. Of course, yeah, it's not going to bring you fulfillment. It's not going to bring you that sense of I am fulfilling my purpose on earth. I am on my path. You're not on your path. I was not on my path. I was on other people's paths and seeing where they went, what they did. And that was just totally draining me. And it's like, how did I think that I could ever achieve what my life was supposed to achieve by looking externally about what everybody else is doing? Like, how are they doing it? How did they get there? Well, my own path is not supposed to be like any of their paths. And I have to have an azimuth. I have to have a direction. I have to have purpose. And that takes vision. So a few years ago, my life was just destroyed. So I've heard it said that storytelling is very, very crucial in getting a message across. So I had lost my family, as in the wife decided to leave with the kids. I was a retired soldier. I was at home, full-time dad. She had a career, and my life just, one day they go to lunch, and out of the blue, they used the court system, took the kids, she left, said things that weren't true, and there I was at ground zero. I had been living my life to take care of my family at home, running a house. Like, that was what my life was comprised of. I get up, take care of the kids, do everything around the house, run a household. That was my life, and then it was gone. I had no vision. I had no mission. I had no direction. I was aimless. I was lost, literally as lost could be. And there was about 2 months. I barely got out of bed. I didn't do anything. I barely did the laundry and washed dishes because I was so heartbroken and utterly destroyed. It was probably one of the worst traumas of my life. No joke. And so I had to figure out, like, what am I going to do? Like, what's my mission? What am I supposed to do in life? And I started thinking about that, going really deep. And I was able to put together a vision that came to me. And I saw this, and it was so real, it just hit home of like, wow, if I don't do this, nobody else will. But if I do this, this is going to be not an insurmountable task, but something that's ridiculously huge. And I don't even know where to start. And I realized it started with finding out who I needed to be to get to that vision of this is what I've built, this is who I've helped, and this is how my life looks now. And that was going to take, and I didn't like this, honestly, because it was going to take a full overhaul of the way my brain was programmed. Because you have a spirit, and then you have a brain that gets programmed from society, because like a dog, you can train a dog. You can train a human. And you train a human, it's like when you see this, you say this. When you hear this, you act this. When you do this, you feel this way. And it starts at a very young age. It's just this deep programming. And then there's this even more deeper layers of programming that happen through traumas. And so my brain had this just horrible amount of programming in it on how to conduct myself in public, how to conduct myself in private, what my character was, how I respond to adversity, how I deal with emotions. Just everything was totally askew. That might be the correct word. And so with this vision, I was like, okay, if I want this vision, I'm supposed to be here, this is who I must be. This is who I am now. And when I say who I am, my spirit is unchanging. My spirit is an eternal entity. Who I am, and when I refer to that, is the character that I am playing. It's how my brain is programmed to respond to anything in the world. That is what I'm referring to. It's it doesn't matter how people observe it or what they think of me. It's how I need to be. And that was, like I said, from the inside out, completely had to be revamped. And I'm sharing this because it can work for you too. When you're able to get a vision and figure out in great detail who you need to be for that vision, then you basically have this map, and then you put an overlay. And so my overlay or my map was the vision, and then that had the overlay of my character, and it did not match up. I'm like, man, this must get scrapped. I was like, how do I do this? How do I start down this path? But as I started down that path, there's so much adversity, so many trials, so many things that just tried to stop me. But every time I would get to the point of despair in adversity, which is going to happen when you choose to change, then I would look inside my mind and I would see that vision, and I would lock onto it and be like, if I do not keep going, I will never get to this. I will never be the person to fulfill this vision. And I would gird myself up, and I would take the next step and take the next step, even when I didn't want to. I had no desire and no drive in me, but I had this vision that I was just locked onto. It was like an anchor in the future. And 4 years later, it has given me so much purpose and so much drive in the darkest of days. And I will just use a bit of my story. In my darkest of days is referring to when family betrays you. The people that you are supposed to love and trust, just betray you at the deepest level on purpose, just to see you fail. And I'm a little bit of a rabbit trail, because in religion, they have these systems where they will specifically use religion to make somebody look horrible. They will use things from their past. They will say these words that just mess somebody up in the head, but it gives them the ability to gossip and make themselves look better by pointing the finger and be like, look how terrible they are. When in reality, they felt like the puppet master in the background, doing these little subversive things to purposely mess somebody up. And I went through that. I've been through that for years. And the last 4 years has been specifically honed and targeted on me by my family. But the thing is, and I have nothing to do with them, it's a little bit of a rabbit trail. I just want to share my story because I know there's other people out there that have been through this. So what I was saying is, they didn't see the vision in my mind. They didn't understand why I kept going and kept getting back up and kept going, because I know where I want to be. I want to help people heal. I want to deliver a message of unity to people. I want to be somebody that's extremely set apart in the world of healing and repairing the human condition in the shape that it's in. Part of that was an education, and I am close to finishing that education. Am I the best student? Heck no. Have I given it the good old college try? Yes. And then I'm going to take a next step in my education journey. But I probably would have never, ever, ever gotten this far without the vision, without that drive, without that fuel of knowing that I have to be the one to do this, and to do this, I must hone myself. I heard it said that we are the material and the sculptor. And I've seen images also where there's a guy with a hammer and a chisel chiseling away at himself, molding himself, and it's a painful process because he knows what he wants to look like, but to get to what he wants to look like, he has to break away from the old version or break away everything that does not resemble or reflect who he is meant to be and needs to be to fulfill a vision. So personal vision, I would just suggest sitting down and writing down the most important things to you, and then just imagine yourself in 20 years if you did the most amazing things that were in service to others with the most amazing relationships around you, and you being at the highest potential that you can be. And look at that and fill in the details of what would this life look like. And remember to add humility into that. Am I always perfectly humble? Heck no. I'm a man still. Like, that ego is a Wolverine. It's like vicious. I'm not always humble, but I strive for that. But I can't reach the point I need to be without that. So I encourage you to interlace humility into your vision and service to others into your vision. And when you get this vision locked in, write it down. Because writing has a power that most people don't really comprehend. Because when you read the vision that was in your mind from paper, all you're doing is validating it, and your subconscious sees that. It's like, oh, this is real. And you have to make it real. You have to make it real in reality by being the person it takes. And that takes you through the darkest of days. And it gets you to days that you want to be out. But I know this for a fact, if I hadn't had a path and a vision, I would be nowhere near the man I am today. Which is saying that I am working on progressing. I am nowhere near perfect. I've never been anywhere near perfect. But it is a struggle. I think it's one of the truest struggles of the human nature of improving how we interact with others and what we do in the world and the signature that we leave. I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope you found this insightful. I shared part of my story so that you could apply it to your own story, because it's basically a tool to use, having a vision. And I hope you found this encouraging. If you're going through dark days, just sit down, isolate. Find a place to get a clear mind and figure out what that vision is. I'm going to wrap it up. Said that already once. And like usual, I'm not good at ending videos. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you gleaned some information off of it. If you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't, you didn't. If you have any nasty comments, I will respond as gentlemanly as possible. If you have good comments, please leave those as well. And maybe like and subscribe if you want to, but not necessary. Roadhouse, spiritual hard. I'm going to end the video now.